Так, надо в следующий раз приходить 15 минут раньше. Так, начинаем в группу под названием «Attendance». Так, Данил Андреев. Нет. Даниал, так, нет. Аня. Латинская. Угу. Роберт. Давид. Игулинский.
Это онлайн.
Я понял. Владимир Вова. Снова. Так, Хабиб онлайн. Камиль. Угу. Я сложно не запомнил. Так, Лев Козлов.
Я.
Да, я тоже сложно не запомнил. Так, Арслан. Ну, это явно что-то онлайн. Эмиль или ТТ? Нет. Дамир. Угу. Никита Носков.
Это казах.
Хорошо. Данил. Кнопом тоже онлайн. Бекзат тоже. Наташа. Да, я так. Кирилл Тамбурский. Андрей Сандемиров. Азамат, понятно. Ренат, понятно. Так, Динар.
Я.
Угу. Так, Макар.
Я.
Александр Стри, что-то там. Да. Стрижен или Стрижнев? Хорошо. Потому что у тебя слишком много страшных букв в имени на английском.
Слишком много ударений.
Данил Войну нет, он дропается, насколько я знаю. Артем Воронов и Рома. Чего?
Кто дропается?
Да там просто один, он ни разу не появлялся.
Он без того не может.
Сансахар, никто. И Айзен тоже. Let's go. So. Today we have actually 1.5 topics. 1.5 because we also have one topic called straight lines, or pair of straight lines, but actually it's a subset of this. First of all, of course, we need to watch some video. So now you saw the material about 5 lectures later. Okay, so they actually, as you know, we have plenty of forms how to represent the line, and we will need to understand all these forms, how to transform from one form to another and explain why we need it. The last one, how to use all this stuff. So actually we will have 3 lessons about this stuff. So line in the plane, just the common plane until probably next class, and the last one, line in space. Today we cover only the first one. Now we go to the equations. Actually, I really recommend you to write down all these forms because you need it. First of all, we have general equation. It's ax plus by plus c equal to 0. Did you know why it appears like this?
Which one?
The general form.
Because it's just a linear equation.
Actually, it is because later when we will cover second order, I mean like parabola and so on, in general form it will be also like this, but we will have extra x square, blah 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 blah. So actually just the presentation. Also we have slope intercept. It's from your class, from school, y equal to kx plus b. What else? Canonical form. You need canonical form to go from, actually it's the most useful for you to go from the general one to parametrical form. So we also have parametrical form.
What is this letter in
Tau.
parametrical?
Tau.
Tau?
Yes. Actually, I will explain why do we need parametrical forms. And using normal line. So if you have normal line, you can receive the equation of the line. Who knows why do we need parametrical form? Or there some suggestions?
Why we need?
Yes, why it's appeared. This looks not so, let's say, intuitive for us, at least when you are studying in school.
Maybe it's following from vector representation of the line. Like when we have a line and it is some alpha multiplied by vector.
Interesting suggestion. I haven't thought in this manner. Any other ideas? But it's you answered on question how it's appeared, but not why do we need it? Why it's what the reason? Actually, we have 2 ways how to find new approaches or whatever. One of them is a scientific one, like scientists said, try to solve some problems and hope some new ideas appear. Second one, engineering approach. When you need to design something and you don't have enough tools for now, and you try to invent it. So actually I know more engineering ways to explain why we need parametrical form. Okay, no suggestions. Actually, we need parametric form, as I know, in two, probably also in computer, in game dev. I think so. So it's robotics and in CAD, computer aided design. Who knows what is it? Compass, SolidWorks, Solid Edge. So raise your hand who knows. Okay, only a few of you. Okay, I also put some slides to explain what is it. So about pneumatics. Actually, actually it's from physics for you. We know so there are three ways to explain the motion. I mean, how to represent that our point moves. The first one is vector form. So it's common vector form as we did, and actually you may see t there. So it's also parametric because respect to time. We can represent in coordinate form, and you did it in class. I mean, in school probably. When you write that, for instance, we throw the ball and you write according to x-axis and y-axis. And the last one is natural form. It's in Russian called pуть path. Actually, it's path. So we are talking, let's say, calculating just, we need to find integral of this guy for the path. I mean, that's how it moves. Why do we need the coordinate form in parametric form? Because actually, we can easily find our absolute value, and we can easily take derivatives of it. Because in this case, it just, so velocity of this will be just derivative. So velocity is just derivative of your coordinates. Present like this. And after this, we need to find absolute value, but actually, it works because our x, y, and z axis is orthogonal. Of course, if it won't be orthogonal, it will be not this form, but we used to work like this. When we're talking about accelerations, it won't work like this. We need to use, let's see, we need to use, summarize them in vector. I mean, like vectors. About CAD modeling. Actually, it was my major. I studied as a CAD developer, and I can explain briefly what is it. Actually, CAD consists of three big parts, because in Russian we call it SAPR, Система автоматизированного проектирования. It consists of CAD, CAM, and CAE. In English, they don't have this word SAPR. They have just CAD, and it includes other parts, just difference in terminology. So computer-aided drafting or design, actually in Russian it's called design. We are considering that we want to make the 3D object. So we can present everything, with a table, your phone, or whatever. Why do we need this guy? Actually, all of them. Because far ago, I mean, when the people didn't have such technologies, they should spend a lot of time on making prototypes, hardware prototypes, of course, because you need to check your solution, and of course, it's not so cheap and time-consuming. In this case, you can using now neural networks, some genetic algorithms, I mean stochastic algorithms. You can check a lot of possible solutions in one day. I mean, decades ago, you need to do it by yourself, making hardware. Of course, it's very time consuming. Computer-aided engineering. When you make some design, you need to check the durability of the materials, how it will work on bending, on whatever. Because when we make some device, we need to check, will it be durable, can it solve your task or no? And the manufacturing one, when you want to make a detail. So now we have CNC machines, ЧПУ станки, drilling machine also, which can be programming, and so on. And we can just write the code. And you can do it using also computer-aided manufacturing applications. And why do we need this parametric form? Exactly, we can divide our modeling in two big parts. First one is solid modeling, and second one is surface modeling. I did it when I studied in Bauman State University. So, what's the problem? Solid modeling. Actually, most of the devices, even this one, can be made by solid modeling, but it's not efficient. What is it? We are considering not the surface, but we are working with box, for instance. I mean, just with, also we're working with splines, but actually we can only extrude, revolute, so extrude, вытянуть, revolute, rotate. And also we need to use Boolean operations, intersection, addition, and subtraction. So for instance, if we want to make, we want to make this bottom part. we can make a box, and after this we can make just let's say this part and this arc. After this we just need to subtract it, and we can make the detail. When we talk about surfaces, it's more complicated. Of course, you cannot make car, you can create this shoe and so on using solid. I mean, you can, but it's quite complicated. In this case, you're considering with 3D splines, 3D surface, and it's the best place for using parametric form. Why? Actually, because we have three types of forms: explicit, implicit, and parametric. Explicit form. Just in our case, it's called slope intersection. I mean, slope intersect form. Implicit form, so it's represented manually from y to x in implicit form. Actually, we cannot represent our circle using explicit form. You can, but it's not really clear. We used to write that x squared plus y squared equal to r squared. I think you get it, yes?
Yes.
But it's called implicit form and parametric form. So we also have line and circle. We can represent line in this form, in parametric form, and we can call it actually as polar coordinates when I talk about circle, but actually it's also parametric. So why do we need it? Actually, the idea is following. When you need to show it on the screen, you don't need to calculate interpolation, or you don't need to calculate all line. You can go. So actually, if we're talking in robotics, we consider t as a time. In this case, it will be used to be from 0 to 1. And for instance, I put some line. What I need to do? I put to 0, to 1, 2, and we just receive a set of points. And for instance, we put some equation which doesn't have some, let's say, some solution on this precise part. In this case, you just won't receive anything. It will be, I mean, either 0 or something else, and we can easily drop it. And we try to solve the whole line. In this case, it will do computational. I mean, we will consume a lot of computational resources. So the main goal to represent it on the screen, because it's more information you can find in Wikipedia about parametric forms. You can just write parametric form, and you will find the link about it. I put this, say, this table from it, but actually I also learned it during my education in Bauman State University. So the goal is to represent it point by point. When we talk about splines and they are really complicated, it's also have benefits because they are very time consuming to solve in general. Now your task is following. You have all equations. Now you need to write down all forms if you have this picture. I especially put all needed numbers for you. So 0 or 2, 0. Our normal line going from 0, 0. Also there is minus 2, 1. So, both. So we have how many forms? 5, if not mistaken. So you need to receive 5. Wait. Who wants to do it on whiteboard? Me. Go. Перепрыгивай. Давай, хочу. Ну или под столом так плохо.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do it in canonical form first, and then we will obtain other forms.
It's up to you.
Okay. We have point P0.
I will go to borrow some.
2, 0. P1. Which is 3, 2. Okay. Vector p1, p0 is equal to 1, 2. Then canonical form will look like this. From this one we can obtain slope intercept. It will be equal to 2x minus 4 equal to y. Okay, this is slope intercept. Then we can obtain general equation if we move to one side. General equation will be y minus 2x plus 4 equal to 0. Now we want to obtain parametrical form. It will be equal to x equal to 2 plus
They have a matter. Very nice idea to put but master near to the good mark.
I'm so sorry.
Master is drawing it. You guys don't want word.
Okay, tau seems like this.
It's like T, but
Okay. And y equal to tau. It is parametrical form. And the last one is using normal line. So R, R, R. This is our R. And normal vector will be R.
did you get how to compare this normal line?
Just look at the picture.
No, I mean with the picture, okay. I mean if you don't know the picture, I mean not the exactly normal line, but I mean this equation.
I don't remember. I know that we considered it, but I don't remember how to.
From dot product? Yes, it's dot product. Because dot product between normal line, the vector, and nothing else.
Okay, normal vector multiplied by 0 should be equal to 0. So okay, dot product is like we multiply this one on some nx, yes, or it's maybe cross product. I don't remember. And this. No.
can help him.
Who can help me? How to obtain normal vector from dot product?
The general form. You already know it from the general form.
Okay. Could you please write it on the board?
It's just coefficients.
Okay. It will be A and B, where A is this one, -2, and the second one is this one, 1. So -2 will be -2, 1 multiplied by 1, 2 equal to y.
Will you receive equation? What does it mean R? What does it mean R? Because in the formula it was normal dot product between normal and R. What does it mean R?
Just a vector representing direction of line.
Do you know this?
Yes.
Like it's xy?
And we already know this vector.
So
our
you want to say me that we can represent the line just we'll receive one scalar.
We'll receive scalar. We'll receive 0 because they are orthogonal.
Maybe we should put their parameter.
Why?
Because see, we know we want to receive the equation. In this case, we need to have x and y. How can we do it? We need to represent a vector. So one point is a variable. I mean, one coordinate is variable. It's x and y. Oops, not this. And y. It's one coordinate. Second coordinate is, for instance, this 0, 2. What it will be? It will be our vector. And dot product between this vector and this vector should be equal to 0 in this case. If you put it, you will receive some result. Did you get it? How to appear? Roma, where is the solution? Where is Roma? Okay. Good job. Okay, let's spend some time to finish the step because some of you didn't do it yet.
Could you please give me my notebook?
Okay.
Thank you.
Actually, this is the answer.
Why do we know that in the fifth line that product of vector y x and y and -2 and 1 is -4?
Again, I didn't get the question.
And fifth line.
This one.
Fifth line. Yeah, this.
It is C.
C. Okay.
Actually, yes, because I put it there that C. Actually, you can derive all these equations by your own. now I just, because as engineers, most of the time you don't need to know this precise, I mean how to derive it, but you need to know these forms. So I put it, and as I told it before, I used these slides. Actually, as you saw, that I have three, I mean, line, plane, and line in space. When I taught this course before, we covered it in one class. Now we have to separate it in three classes. So my original slides was, contained all three ways. So it's the reason why I use it. Because in robotics, most of the time I use plane equations, not this one. I mean, not line and plane. Okay. Also, we have some formulas for distances. It can be useful for you. How to derive it is in this book. No. Actually, part of the task from your from your home assignments and so on were taken from Umnov and the Klimishev. These Russian books is the reason why we didn't provide it to you. But 2 years ago, the professor didn't have any problem with it. And foreigner students didn't know where to take material because of material were taken from Russian books. So if you want to have some extra home task or whatever, you can just take Klimishev and solve task from it.
Beklemishev?
Beklemishev. Actually, in terms of second one, is for line and space mainly, because it's Q mean that like this.
And A1 is what is it?
This one. Let's see.
No.
We have R. It's x y. You know, R0 is some point of this plane. So what can be A if we have line and point? I think my deduction should work on max 7 power. What's coordinate of a point? Bam. Now let's go briefly through all tasks from the classwork.
I have already did.
So what? First of all, can you explain what does it mean? I mean this slope. What is it?
Maybe coefficient.
Why it's called? Do you know why it's called slope intersect?
Because the slope intersects points.
So perfect. But what can we take a coefficient from it?
Yes.
And what the coefficient?
2.
In this case.
Yes.
So x plus b equal to y. So k is slope. So what is it actually? Why it's called slope? What is it?
Tangent.
Tangent between what and what?
Between
x-axis.
X-axis and
line.
our line.
So now you know why it's called slope, because we have coefficient which represent tangent between two angles. So let's discuss the algorithm for this guy. What we need to do? What's the first one?
We can obtain vector and then obtain
No vectors.
canonical form of equation.
Other.
Lol.
I mean.
Vectors were easy.
So you receive vector. How will you get? How will you take the slope in this case?
with x axis vector.
Yes, sir.
That's y divided by x.
Yes, it's this way. Yes, canonical form, but you don't need any vectors. I mean, you don't need to say this is a vector. You just, let's say, or you can either do it like this. Yes, you can take the slope intercept. You need to solve, and solve this guy. This is way, yes, is just y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 equal to our k. Okay. Yeah, okay. And solve this guy. The answer will be minus 4. So 4 minus 2. 2, the bottom part, and minus 5 minus 3, minus 8. Or yes, minus 8 divided by 2 equal minus 4. The second one.
We can convert this form to slope intercept.
Yes.
So
And just took the number. Yes. So what do you think about this game?
We know that
Spend some time. I want the answer. For instance, what will answer on this question? Actually, first of all, this text looks a bit weird. Some bisect. What is this portion? So who can explain me? What is it? Vova, do you know what does mean portion or bisect? What does it mean bisect?
Is two equal
What?
parts to
Bisect sounds like Krisa, you know, bisectrisa. So two equal angles. So bisect is when we have a line that. Yes. Okay, you know what does mean bisect. What does it mean the portion okay between the blah blah blah?
segment of line.
Okay, fine. It is. So what the task? So what do we need to receive? Okay, let's draw it. Because if we get how to draw it, in this case, we won't have any problem. So we have, after this we know that we need to take some portion and our bisect point should be 2 minus 5. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. After this we need to boom. Do you read it? Because so what can we do with it? Right thing. Let's spend 5 minutes to solve this task.
If we know that these angles are
Is it real?
equal,
What?
Why is it real?
yes.
Again?
The angle should be like 45 degrees or I mean,
Who said it?
because you draw it.
тебя будет 45 там, 90 не будет.
Axes are orthogonal.
Can you draw it in different manner?
Ничего, пояснится.
Actually, okay, yes, it's 45 degrees. So what else? Can you solve this task?
Yes, if we know that it's 45 degrees, we know that our
Do
line
it at your sheet. I have the answer, so
but I don't know why this line, what this point should be on bisect. So if we will have 45 degrees, it should have equal x and y by absolute value.
Даже бисектриса это было. Может вот так вот выходить. Как это еще?
I guess that this is not intersection with bisector, but it is a half of line like this. This equal to this, and this is point.
yes, it is.
So it is not bisector.
С медианом, что ли?
Bisect you can Google.
I mean that in this task, this is not intersection between bisector and a line.
We try to finish one is very well. Others, spend time to solve it. I won't show you the answer.
Сейчас перепишу, чтобы было более понятно.
Часть.
Actually, yes, in this case, he right that it's not bisectrice, we need to have the same. So the segment of the line should be equal from the left part and right part.
And how we can solve this if it's not bisect?
You know that from one coordinate, I mean from the so intersection between one frame, I mean coordinate for instance x, and your point should be equal that other coordinate and your point. This point should be median between yes, so for instance, bam.
Okay.
whole test?
No. When I finished,
Yes, when did you mean? From class. What did you answer?
last 3 tasks.
Okay. So what the answer?
In which form?
It's up to you.
Okay, I have a slope intercept form. I have y is equal 5 over 2x minus 10.
Yes.
Can you show the result?
You know that this point is and if I didn't use match, so if this parts should be equal, this point should be 4. Yes, something. And we can get this that by 2x movements we will gain 5 on y, and this point should be 0 minus 10. And from this we can receive that this is our b in slope intercept, and tangent 5 over 2 is our k.
Can you solve it in another manner? Why did you not just finish on the first one? I mean, you find that it should be equal to 4, 0.
Yeah, we can.
So you have 2 points. Why do you need extra point?
We can derive canonical form from this.
Could you do it?
Okay, so we'll have x minus 4
So yours is the same. Okay. What can you say about I mean, how can we find this point without doing any drawings?
And what do we know? That it's median.
Yes.
And
do we know that angle is right?
So, other ideas. Come on. So,
Repeat question.
what?
Repeat question.
So, how to find this point on axis if you don't want to use, if you cannot use drawings? I asking wrong.
Okay. We may use equation.
What equation?
This distance is equal. This distance may vary.
like 4. Okay.
No, you're trying to force the answer.
No. We should find this point.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And y is equal to 0. We may.
Maybe projections somehow help us.
After you try to solve this task without using drawings. Of course, you can try to use math or you can think.
Just multiply x by 2, and we get intersection between OX and our line, and this will be falling 0.
Why?
Without drawing, we don't know
because
that.
this is half of our line. So our point P is there.
We can say that in somewhere we will receive 0 coordinate in x, and we can say that our x coordinate in P is how to say it's
Equal range, like average arithmetical.
Average from 0 and intersection with x-axis.
Point A with coordinate A0. Point B with coordinate 0, small b, and this point O. O B равняется is equal вектор ОА plus
Okay.
ОБ divided by 2. And it's equal
Perfect. So he proved it actually, yes. Because of this. Yes, you can say in your manner that yes, and looking at the drawing you can find the answer. Or if you're like a math guy, you can say You may see that video in the center of the video there will be a sure. Okay. So did you get how to here? Yes. Renata.
I solved this way, so yes.
Let's go. I put a hint for you for the new concurrent. Concurrent.
This is super easy. We just need to find 2 points, and that's it.
Did I say that it's not easy? Did I say that it's very tough task? Won't answer. I see. Yes, you're right.
Yes. Oh.
Yes, I. Yes. I take this thing. Typical Toma. Distract. Санек, go. We solve together. I'm going to solve it.
Is this answer?
No. The whiteboard to the best one, maybe, but I didn't get your. What is it? It's 3, and it is 1. I like.
-3.
No. Did you solve it correctly?
X plus 1?
Yes.
Yes. So let's discuss what you need to do. Actually, what the goal? So do you have to line and concurrent? It means that they should have one intersection point. These two guys also should have the intersection points. So one intersection point, another intersection point. So you need to solve two equations. What you will receive after this? And after this, what can you do? You receive 2 points. And so you could, how can you take equation if you have 2 points? Okay, so go. Слайд готов, сейчас я тебя залайкаю.
Marker.
No. Martyr, it's a range weapon. In this case, he knows what he can do, yeah? Yesterday we had sparrings. See, he already prepared. Tyomo almost the best fighter there. After Rome and me. Yeah.
So,
Actually, I was surprised. Yeah.
точно файл.
Словил ниже.
Okay, well, he's solving.
Ну, да,
Let's go to the next task.
Да, вот у меня. Да.
Центральный.
Вот ведь я ошибся.
Центр медианы. Центр массы, да, это оно.
Ну, у тебя какие точки?
Не понял. Чего?
Не
Yes.
расстраивайся.
So she's right. Bye. What's the main problem of this task?
First equation.
The first equation, what the hell is this?
It's 2 lines.
What? Why it's 2 lines?
Because we saw the example.
How to derive this equation?
Okay.
First of all, we can do it like this. See, guys, magic. We are going GeoGebra.
Yeah,
Boy, yeah.
After this, we just need to stay and do like this. Bam. How can we solve this task? If I were you and the так, and bam.
Не-не-не, я тебе придумал. Это на точка есть.
Можно их попробовать вывести.
Ну,
Yeah. I made a mistake, man. Bam. After this, we need to say that, okay, bam. After this, how can we solve this task? We need to draw other, so we need to find the median for this guy, this guy, and find the centroid. I think so. Actually, now is the best time for you to use extra, materials, because in the previous class you need to use MATLAB to solve it. Now you can use GeoGebra to draw it, and after this take the real numbers. After this, you can, of course, if you know the real answer, you can solve it using some math apparatus, because you need it at an exam. So I just can solve it. How it appeared. Now let's discuss how it appeared, in terms of math. First of all, I put some. So actually, as you get, it's called pair of straight lines. How it appeared? Actually, when I taught at this course previous time, we didn't cover this topic. So today I had 10 minutes to understand how it appeared. Okay, it's have some equations. Some special, special properties, but we won't need it today. We need to know how to receive this stuff. So,
Maybe we just multiply two general equations.
actually, it is. I just want to show it explicit form. So we receive two equations of lines actually, and because they're intersecting, as you remember, they should be equal to 0 in this point. So boom, 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 and they depend on each other. For this task. So we have this task. What do we need to know about this?
we need to know plus in third row before the y.
Again.
Third row. Second y. Yes.
You need to have
Minus 2x. No.
2x plus y.
Are you sure? I disagree.
But we will have
We on the second line we should
second
have
line.
plus.
Yes.
So in the second.
No.
Second one.
One second. Yes.
Yes.
Thanks. So I put there. Actually, what we can do? We can use our previous knowledge about that median of the triangle will be equal to this guy. X, Y, I mean, element and yes, center of mass. I explained previous time. So now you need to summarize your knowledge. Now we have three equations. I mean, 1 second, so one line, second line, and third line is now you need to accumulate all your knowledge and solve this task. What?
Excuse me, LM and N, this is dots of our triangle. Points.
You remember we solved the task on the first, let's say, it was second, first class.
So it is a point of our triangle, yeah? Like vertices or something like this.
This is three vertices.
Thank you.
It's better to show the proof. It's for me. So actually, we know then.
Почему у тебя вот эта точка? 4 сидит? Откуда? Откуда? Почему? Это сколько? Почему? Ну, типа, ты y68 делим на 3, 2 третьих x плюс 4 третьих. X равно 1. Все равно ты сделал. Должно. Ты херню сделал, смотри. Ну, команда это решила. Просто у меня типа пока его график. Так бывает. Я не могу, она же вот это. Сколько? Там получается положительный.
the written answer, try to solve it now. Let's check.
Ты смотришь стрим.
Нет. Мы должны взять точки вектора.
Знаю. Центровка, а я не вижу.
Я нашел уже другой.
Я себе знал, я нашел. Я не знаю.
Чё я могу смотреть?
Ты про ты? Да.
Мы все.
Что ты решил? Сколько солдат Стас? 1, 2, 3. Галерка. Наташа, я вижу, что ты не понимаешь? It's answer but not solution. Actually, it was the last task. I don't see any reason to solve the last one from the home, I mean, from the class, because it's near the same.